to everybody for coming. My name is Adam Olaño-Scow. I am a co-founder of the Campaign for Organic and Regenerative Agriculture, CORA. We are a grassroots group of people from all over the Pajaro Valley, from Santa Cruz County, who have come together to work to win a change. We know we have a problem of toxic pesticides plaguing this community, our health, our environment, and we're uniting because this is not a new problem. But we are seeing elevated levels of childhood cancer, learning disabilities, respiratory problems that we all know. We have friends and family members in our community who are suffering from these problems. We want to see an agricultural economy that is fair, economically and environmentally. We need agriculture. We need to grow food. This is one of the most amazing climates in the world here in the Pajaro Valley to grow food. And so, but we need it to become better and more fair. We're obviously honored to have the presence of one of the great farm worker advocates in history, Dolores Huerta. You'll hear from her shortly, but we want to welcome her. Before I bring up our first speaker, I want you to know that we are in communication with Driscoll's. We have met with Miles Ryder, the Ryder family that controls Driscoll's and Ryder Berry. They told the Lookout in 2022, I'm going to quote Miles, people like the idea of organic, and it's not like we're not going to grow organically. It's something we do. So we should prioritize doing it where it makes the most difference. Yeah. That was 2 years ago, and now we are here ready for some action. We have had more and more organizations, more and more residents joining this movement. A couple of years ago, the Watsonville City Council unanimously passed a resolution calling for organic farming within a mile of the perimeter, and we are right on the perimeter of the city of Watsonville. You're standing on it right now. This is the county, this is the city. We have put together a map using public data highlighting fields around the city and by our schools that are farmed organically or with toxic pesticides. And we are specifically calling on Driscoll's to lead the movement, lead the way by transitioning these fields to organic right away. This field behind you, covered by the black tarps, is actually farmed organically, this sliver towards East Lake. Pretty much everything else behind this school, Macquiddy Elementary, behind this neighborhood and all the way to the district office is farmed with toxic pesticides like T-Lone and chlorpicrin. And so we are, and you'll see that here on the map, and that is what we are calling on Driscoll's to do. I would like to invite our first speaker. She's a big hero of mine, one of the leaders of this movement, working hand in hand alongside with farm workers. The Executive Director of the Center for Farm Worker Families, please welcome Dr. Ann Lopez. Yeah.
I want to thank all of you for coming today to honor one of the greatest heroes in my mind, Dolores Huerta. She's been my inspiration for years, and most of my life, actually. I used to read everything she did when she was working with Cesar Chavez, and I kept thinking, I've got to do something like that. So she's been a real inspiration to me. And I know that one of her big concerns is the issue of pesticides. So to create some context, I'd like to tell you what the pesticide situation is right here where we're standing. In the zip codes that encompass Santa Cruz County, 95076, which is where we are right now in Watsonville, stands out as one of the few in the county that has a majority Latinx population of 70.7%. A full 60% of all Latinx residents in all the Santa Cruz County zip codes live within the 95076 zip, which includes Watsonville, while only 12.6% of the county's white population lives here. However, 98.5% of the pesticides associated with childhood leukemia and 95.2% of pesticides tied to childhood brain cancer were applied in 2019 in this zip code alone. Yeah, boo is right, exactly. And I want to just mention that I have worked in the farm worker community and done a PhD studying various aspects of their life, and I am sick and tired of meeting families that have at least one kid that has some anomaly that will probably affect them for life, including brain cancer, bone cancer, ADHD, learning disabilities. There's just a myriad, and it was shocking to me when I first started my research to go from house to house to meet these families, and almost everyone had some child that has one of these serious anomalies. And you won't find that in North County. It's concentrated here. The pediatric cancer rate for children ages 0 to 14 years old is the second highest in Santa Cruz County of all counties in the state, according to the National Cancer Institute. So at 22.5 childhood cancers per 100,000 children, the rate of cancer in Santa Cruz County is more than 38% above the overall cancer rate of 16.3. Why is this tolerated? Yeah, why do we put up with this nonsense? I mean, this is disgraceful. And an image comes to mind of mothers who sent me pictures of their children just before they died. One who was 15 who had had struggles with bone cancer, and just before she died, a picture of her. And then another one who had glioblastoma. And again, these are teens. They're not even adults yet. And their lives have been ended pretty essentially, yes. So, why do we put up, this is, I look at it like murder. You're exposing kids to things that will potentially kill them. And why don't we talk about it like that? I mean, this stuff is deadly. The use of pesticides linked to childhood cancers is likely the contributor of this horrific harm to children. The UCLA Fielding School of Public Health has identified 13 pesticides correlated to the onset of childhood cancer between birth and 5 years old when the mother lives within 2.5 miles of pesticide applications while pregnant. Since 2018, a consistent 1 million pounds of pesticides have been applied to Santa Cruz County each year. A record 67% of them are fumigant gases that travel for miles. So, for instance, Talone, 1,3-dichloropropene, a very potent carcinogen, this chemical travels at least 7 miles. That's all of Watsonville. So anywhere you live in Watsonville, if it's in the summer and they're spraying near you and you have your window open, you could be exposed just like that. I mean, why is this tolerated? Compared to any other county in the state, Monterey County has a higher percentage of schools and students in areas with the greatest pesticide use, affecting 29 schools and 18,525 students. And Monterey County ranches and farms applied over 2 million pounds of chlorpicrin, a toxic air contaminant, and over 700,000 pounds of 1,3-dichloropropene, a potent carcinogen, in 2021. The lifetime cancer risk at Ohlone Elementary School continues to be twice OEHA, the Office of Environmental Health Hazard Assessments, threshold, And in general, Latino school children are 3.2 times more likely than white students to attend schools with the highest use of the most hazardous pesticides. The disparity is most notable in the Pajaro Valley area. And again, why do we tolerate this? This is an example of environmental racism. You would not find this in North County of Santa Cruz. Or if it was there, there would be such an uproar that you'd hear about it all over the country. What's going on that this is acceptable? 3.2 times? I mean, this is so disgraceful. And luckily, I had the privilege of meeting Valerie Bengal. She's a physician specializing in family and community medicine with expertise in environmental health in Salinas and the Pajaro Valleys for more than 4 decades. And I agree with her recommendation, which is the only real remedy is that pesticides must be phased out. Get rid of the pesticides. Yay. So anyway, I thank you for joining this effort and
Thank you.
We want you to support spray days. So if you know about spray days, I have a little bit of information here, and I'm happy to talk more about it with you, but I don't want to take up more time because I know. Oh, yes. So, you're gonna hear more. I'm gonna introduce you to Maricela Cruz. Oh, I'm introducing you to Maricela Cruz. And she is one of the victims of pesticides that's going to tell her story.
Hola, buenos días a todos. Yo me llamo Maricela Cruz. Él es mi esposo Castro y mi hijo Julián y Yalitza.
Good morning, my name is Maricela Cruz. This is my husband and these are my 2 children.
La razón por la que estoy aquí es porque yo sufrí de cáncer gástrico. Yo era una trabajadora de campo piscando fresa en Salinas, California.
The reason why I'm here today is because I suffered of stomach cancer. I'm a field worker in Salinas.
Los especialistas de cáncer me dijeron que la razón por la que me pudo dar cáncer es por los muchos químicos que echan en los campos de fresa. Esa puede ser la razón por la que me dio el cáncer de estómago.
The cancer specialist told me that one of the reasons why I might have gotten the cancer is because of all the pesticides that they spray in the fields.
Sí, yo tuve cáncer en el estómago y a mí me dieron 8 sesiones de quimioterapias. Ya luego me operaron, me hicieron una operación muy grande y me sacaron todo el estómago. Ahora vivo sin estómago.
I had 8 chemotherapy sessions and operations, and the biggest operation resulted in the removal of my entire stomach.
Ahorita estoy en recuperación, pero voy a andar en remisión por 6 años. Y ahorita hace 2 semanas me hicieron biopsia en mi hígado porque su nivel de sangre de mi hígado está muy alto y todavía no me dan los resultados de esa biopsia que me hicieron.
I am in remission right now. I had a biopsy done, and I have not yet received the results of my biopsy, but my liver is at risk.
El cáncer me afectó mucho a mí y a mi familia porque yo ya no pude trabajar y mi esposo nomás trabajó muy poquito el año pasado porque él anduvo conmigo en todas mis citas porque yo tuve muchas citas el año pasado y él afectó mucho a mi familia. Hasta ahorita nos está afectando porque yo no puedo trabajar y nomás mi esposo está trabajando y nos hace mucha falta el dinero para pagar la renta porque no nos alcanza.
Right now, I'm not working. My husband is working, and he's the one that has been bringing in a little bit of money. We've been struggling to pay our rent.
Cuando yo estaba embarazada, cuando me diagnosticaron la úlcera, porque primero me dijeron que era úlcera gástrica la que yo tenía en el estómago, pero pasaron 3 meses y en marzo tuve a mi hijo y en abril me diagnosticaron el cáncer. Mi bebé tenía 1 mes y medio cuando me diagnosticaron el cáncer.
When I was a month and a half pregnant, I was told I probably had an ulcer. And in April, after my son was born, and in March my son was born. In April, they diagnosed me with cancer, and he was only a month and a half old.
Lo que yo puedo decir es que el patrón de este rancho que está aquí, que saque su rancho aquí o que su rancho que sea de orgánico, que ya no sea como mucho, que ya no eche muchos químicos en el campo de fresa, porque eso afecta mucho a los trabajadores de campo.
What I would say to the owner of the ranch behind us is to get rid of the ranch or to turn it organic, because the pesticides are affecting all of the farm workers.
Pues muy buenas tardes a todos. Mi nombre es Ernestina Solorio.
Good afternoon to everyone. My name is Ernestina Solorio.
Yo vengo de Michoacán, México. Yo llegué aquí en 1993.
I'm from Michoacán, Mexico, and I arrived in the United States in 1993.
Y desde todo ese tiempo tengo trabajando en los files, en la agricultura, de la pizca de la fresa.
And since I arrived, I've been working in the fields, mostly picking strawberries.
Tengo 4 hijos. De 2 hijos, los 2 hijos primeros, ellos no tuvieron ningún problema en la escuela, y tengo 2 niños más chicos que tienen el problema de aprendizaje. A ellos me los detectaron con el problema de HDD.
I have 4 kids. My 2 oldest don't have any learning problems. My 2 youngest were diagnosed with ADHD.
Con ellos tuve la necesidad de trabajar en los files cuando yo estaba embarazada, y me la he visto difícil con ellos por su problema de aprendizaje en las escuelas. Están en psicólogo, consejería, y la verdad es algo muy triste verlos que no pueden progresar por su falta de aprendizaje.
The truth is that it's been very hard with my 2 youngest children. I had to work when I was pregnant with the both of them, and they are constantly going to medical appointments with counselors and psychologists. And it's very difficult for me to see how they're not able to get better and progress.
Yo no sabía lo que me exponía cuando yo estaba embarazada, trabajando con todos los pesticidas. Si hubiera sabido, nunca lo hubiera haber hecho, porque las consecuencias las están llevando mis hijos.
If I had known that there was chemicals in the fields, I would have chosen not to work there. The difficult thing is that my lack of knowledge of that, now the result is that my kids have to suffer the consequences.
Por eso ojalá que los dueños de los ranchos que tienen como estas áreas de las escuelas tengan conciencia que los niños que están creciendo son el futuro del mañana, y que crezcan en un lugar saludable, que no estén afectados, porque ellos pasan también por depresión, y yo les digo, por mis niños se la miran difícil y dicen, ¿por qué no sienten que son unos niños normales? Yo como madre que los miro, el niño de 18 años que tengo no ha podido salir a su escuela por su problema que él tiene.
I would say that the owners of these fields, these conventional fields, should have some conscience, and they should think about the kids and how much kids can suffer. My kids have depression, and my 18-year-old asks himself why he can't be normal.
Ojalá que tengan conciencia y que lo hagan por la comunidad, por los niños que son nuestro futuro, ¿verdad? Que se haga orgánico, porque es el futuro para la comunidad y todos estar bien.
The owners of these farms should change their farms for the community. They should change these farms for the students. The students and those youth are our future.
Que los dueños de Driscoll tengan conciencia, que no lo hagan por el dinero, que lo hagan por las familias, que levantamos las cosechas.
That the owners of Driscoll's would have some conscience and that they do it for the children and the kids and the farm workers.
Y con la unión hace la fuerza, ¿verdad? Gracias aquí a la doctora López, a la señora Huerta que está aquí por apoyarnos y que ojalá que esperamos que sí se haga un cambio. Y muchas gracias a todos.
In unity there is strength. And I want to thank Dr. Ann Lopez and Dolores Huerta for advocating. I think change is possible.
Gracias.
She's been doing the translating. Please welcome another hero in our community, co-founder of Esperanza Community Farms, Mireya Gomez Contreras.
Gosh, there should be so many more people out here this morning, shouldn't there? How many of you would want to go work in a poisoned field? I'm sad to know that our neighbors, field workers, aren't told that they're stepping into fields with poison in them. I doubt they'd say, yes, let me do it. I'm here to just reiterate, and I think we all know that change is possible. There has been some change, we see it on the map, but there's more work to be done. Leadership, stronger leadership is necessary on the part of these farm owners and landowners that simply just have not made a decision for whatever reasons that might be. It's too expensive, it's too complicated. Yeah, that's part of the work, isn't it? That's part of the work. Being a farmer, I have the honor of working with small organic farms. I work with 25 small farmers in the region, and I know firsthand the difficulties of being a farmer. And the difficulty of being a farmer is no excuse for not shifting and not stopping the use of pesticides. Community pressure. I'm so glad that all of us are here today, and the two other pieces of the puzzle that I see missing is information. If a strawberry is made with poison, let's say the strawberry is made with poison, I'm not going to eat strawberries with poison. Like Dr. Ann Lopez said, let's be truthful. Let's speak real talk. More the public would mobilize and organize the way that Dolores Huerta has inspired many of us to do so. Community pressure continues to be important, and an informed public is an important part of the puzzle. A quick story, I was at career day at an elementary school in Salinas, Cesar Chavez Elementary School, and I got to talk about my job as a sociologist. And at one point, there was great energy in the room. There was lots of questions from students about what I do as an ag and farm worker advocate and organizer. And I said, raise your hands if you want organic produce at your school. Every single student in that 5th grade class raised their hand. It is, exactly the way that Ernestina just said. It's very simple. Gosh, let's listen to our youth who are asking us to get out of the way and to point to the real solutions. It can be that simple. And finally, I just want to say, instead of focusing on the problem, I'm trying to focus on the solutions. And there are so many examples of organic farms around us. There's so many examples of organic farmers. It shouldn't be. Let's not talk about how hard it is. Let's talk about how to get there and what can be done. And let's have that plan. We need that plan instead of excuses. I have the honor of introducing Dolores Huerta today. Again, Dolores Huerta, founder and president of the Dolores Huerta Foundation. Dolores Huerta is a civil rights activist and community organizer. She has worked for labor rights and social justice for over 50 years. In 1962, she and Cesar Chavez founded the United Farmworkers Union. She served as vice president and was critical in many of the union's accomplishments for 4 decades. In 2002, she received the Puffin Nation $100,000 prize for creative citizenship, which she used to establish the Dolores Huerta Foundation. DHF, the Dolores Huerta Foundation, is engaging in groundbreaking community-based organizing to state and national movements to register and educate voters, advocate for education reform, improve infrastructure in low-income communities, advocate for greater equality for the LGBT community, and create strong leadership development. She has received numerous awards, including President Clinton's Eleanor Roosevelt Human Rights Award in 1998. In 2012, President Obama bestowed Dolores with the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the highest civilian honor in the United States. Please help me in welcoming our friend Dolores Huerta.
Hello, everybody. Hi. Hey, I just want to thank all of you for being here today. Thank you so much for making your presence known and letting Driscoll know that we are not happy with that company, right? No. And I am so happy to join the campaign for organic and restorative agriculture. We can do this, okay? Number one, you know, we did not use pesticides in our country until after World War II. And guess who developed the use of pesticides? Germany, the Nazis. Yeah, this is kind of a gift from the Nazis that we use pesticides. And of course we know that now we're getting other gifts from them like fascism, right? Which we also do not want. And but you know, before that time, through all of the decades and the century, people grew food without pesticides. So why do we need it now? We don't need pesticides now. And it has been proven that they can grow food without pesticides. So there is a person here I want to introduce him, Juan Manuel from United Farmworkers. Let's give him an applause. One of the great organizers of the United Farmworkers. And we are just happy to let people know that there is a company, a strawberry company named Swanson Strawberry Farms in Pescadero, okay? And that company for 26 years has grown strawberries without pesticides. And not only that, but they have a union contract, okay? Where the workers have a health plan, they have a pension plan, they negotiate their wages, and they've been able to do this. Now, what do we know about Driscoll? Number one, they do not have a union, right? Driscoll does not have a union, and I remember we tried to organize a union at Driscoll's. Oh my God, it's been over 40 years ago, I think, you know, when we had the big strikes here in Salinas. Many of the companies in Salinas, the lettuce companies, they did sign contracts with the United Farmworkers. And the one thing about having a union contract is because when you sit down at the table to negotiate, you can say to them, we don't want you to use pesticides, right? You can make that a condition of the work. Well, Driscoll has none of that. And not only here in Watsonville, but we know that down in Baja California, Driscoll has strawberry farms down there. And guess what they use down there? The same thing. They use pesticides on the workers there. The workers have terrible working conditions. The workers have gone on strike several times down there. So Driscoll, we've got to put them in the bad company column, right? Bad company column. And let the world, let everybody know that this company is not a company that cares about its workers. It doesn't care about the community. It doesn't care about the consumers. And we have heard here, our live testimonies of people families that have been affected negatively by pesticides. But as consumers, if you're not a farm worker, you're still affected by the pesticides. The United States of America, we have the highest cancer rate of any country in the world. We have the highest cancer rate. And it is devastating when you hear about the farm workers and their families. And I know so many people that I know, even down in the Delano area, young people that are now in their 40s and their 50s, and they're getting cancer. They're dying of cancer because their families, they lived in agricultural communities or they worked in the fields when they were younger, and that they're dying of cancer. This cannot continue. This cannot continue. And it's not going to change until we, the people, start insisting that we stop the use of pesticides. And I don't know, somehow the narrative got changed. Because before, everybody was saying, stop the use of pesticides. And then all of a sudden, the narrative is, well, let's notify people about the use of pesticides, okay? Well, we know that notification does not work, right? Notification does not work. The only thing that we have to do is we have to say, you need to stop using the pesticides or we are not going to buy your products, right? You stop using the pesticides or we're not going to buy your products. And I know there have been attempts in the past, I think I have a couple of boycott Driscoll buttons in my button collection. But we've got to start making a serious effort to say to Driscoll and the other strawberry companies, if you're going to keep using pesticides, we're not going to buy your products. Now we have recently heard about how people who are boycotting products and not buying companies' product, how it's affected their bottom line. I'm going to say the word Tesla, okay? The word Tesla, right? Yeah. So we know that a lot of people stopped buying Teslas, and all of a sudden the bottom line has dropped, and they're even thinking of getting a new president of their company, which is good. So this is what we have to say to Driscoll. And it's coming from me, not from the campaign, but my personal opinion is that if Driscoll does not stop using pesticides, if they do not stop murdering the farm workers that make them rich, that we, the consumers, will say to everyone, just don't buy Driscoll strawberries, okay? Don't buy Driscoll strawberries. We have to make that sacrifice. And I think it's an easy one that we can do. It worked when we boycotted grapes back in the 60s and the 70s, so there's no reason why it can't work now, okay? I think if there's more of us, we have more access to information. We have a lot of social platforms. Let's get these statistics out, these horrifying statistics, what is happening to the families. And when we think of the farm workers, we hear a lot about essential workers during the pandemic, essential workers. We heard about the policemen and the firemen. Well, who are the most essential workers? The people that feed the firemen and the policemen. They do not have the protections, they do not have the benefits, they do not have the salaries. So that's another thing that we have to keep working on, to make sure that our farm workers are not only protected, but they can rise to the level in terms of their living standards that other essential workers enjoy. We can make that happen. Si se puede. Thank you very much for inviting me to share this important press conference with you. Thank you. Si se puede. Gracias. Oh, let me add to this, okay? And I like to end all my rallies this way, just reminding us of who we are. Okay, so I'm going to ask all the questions, two questions. Number one, who's got the power? And I want you to yell really loud, we've got the power, right? And the second question is, what kind of power? And I want you to say people power. And let's do that loud enough so Driscoll can hear us, okay? Okay, let's go. Who's got the power? We got the power! Okay, a little bit louder, okay? So the message can carry. Who's got the power? We got the power! What kind of power? People power! Are we going to use our people power to shake Driscoll up, make them listen to us, make them listen to the farm workers? What do we say? ¿Se puede? Sí se puede! ¿Se puede? Sí se puede! Okay, let's do it with a unified clap. Let's go. Sí se puede! Sí se puede! Sí se puede! Gracias, muchas gracias. Thank you very much. Okay, let's continue.
Why was it important that you be here today?
Well, when we think about the fact that you have children that are down with disease, if you have farm workers who work in the fields that are being murdered by pesticides, we can't continue that. I think it's something that we would want every single person, every consumer would love to be their farm workers themselves. Stand up for them. Stand up for them. It's so easy. It's just the wrong reason why they have to use pesticides. Organic farmers have proven that you can grow without pesticides. And we did that here for centuries, you know? And so the use of pesticides has got to stop.
What would you tell, farm workers and people who may be scared to speak up against these large corporations? What would your words of wisdom be for them to speak up and not be afraid?
Well, one thing I would say to them is you can organize into a union. The United Farm Workers is there to represent them. And then when you sit down at the bargaining table, you can actually say that as part of our contract we do not want you to use any dangerous pesticides in the fields. So there are ways to do it. It's not an impossible situation. There are remedies and steps that people can take to make sure that we don't have the pesticides on our fields.
And what is your message to Driscoll about the pesticides?
I would say it's about time. Caesar Chavez in his last fast that he did a fast for 36 days without any food, just water and Holy Communion. And he did this to bring to the attention of the public that pesticides are harmful, not only to farmers but to consumers also. And so I would say Driscoll, they have made so much money over the years using pesticides on the strawberries. It's time for them to revert and to join the organic farmer movement and start growing your strawberries without pesticides. Okay, you can do it. And it's not about the profits. Okay, think about the lives of the people, of your workers and their families. They're being negatively affected. And the consumers that eat the strawberries, they'll also be negatively affected. And are also maybe fed with cancer also. We don't want that. We don't want the strawberries to be full of this cancer on them.
I have another question. Given that regulations from, for example, California Department of Pesticide Regulation have activists have said that they fail to protect farm workers for decades. They've said this. Do you think it's a lack of political will, or what do you think are the barriers to effective regulation and truly protecting farm workers from pesticides? Amended the bill so they would do a decent study on we're talking about a pesticide that's been used by the rest I don't think it is. And so when we study on what is there,
Anybody else?
This is another place where I believe that people could really be effective is by letting their legislators know that we've got a bad pesticide.
Dolores. With this current administration, how has that affected your work at the foundation? How has it shifted with this administration and their actions?
Well, the one thing that, we're a lot busier than we were before. We've got to have, kind of having to shift our priorities somewhat. And, and constantly we have to tell people, number one, not to be afraid, that we're going to stand up with this administration, that we've got to continue the work. We're asking people to boycott Target because they clear away with their diversity and inclusion and equity policies. So we have to figure out ways to fight back. And boycotting is the perfect way to do that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all for coming. Okay, so important.
I think they have a question. What do you think is the best time to convince them to boycott Driscoll?
Can you join forces with PV High?
I believe that hearing some of the stories from the workers themselves, like the ones that are just learning, is a really good way. Because when people see the face of a farm worker, like we just saw, that is telling their own story about how they've been affected by cancer, by the pesticides on the kidney. This is a really important aspect. It's easy to get the word out. It's easy to get the word out. And I think when they see the statistic, then we know we have the proof here. It's not hearsay. It's not one of them acts of the church that can show how harmful these pesticides are.
Thank you so much. So nice to meet you.
Okay, Dolores is going to go to your group. We have a PV High EA Hall group. We have a PVFT group. We have a Labor UFW SAS group. So Dolores will come to you. She's got to go pretty soon. We'll have a CORA group too. Next group, please. Next group. We got a Labor PVFT UFW group. Safe Ag, Safe Schools. Education, Cabrillo, UCSC, CSUMB. Let's say CORA, Center for Farmworker Families.
Oh yeah, no, I'm like, I got a bunch of people, but our friend sadly was cut off. I'm the only one that gave them my phone. Which was just this last week.